Hi guys, quick reef update, Paul UK Reefer. We're into July. So the tank is now 6 months old, if I'm doing the maths right. You'll notice some new additions. Since I last left you, the SPS that I had at the top. So these guys, the Hystrix and the Barley Slimer, no joy. Slowly stripping, you can still see perhaps, sorry, there's still a little bit of blue in the light, but that's got tons of flow around it, and that's all basically dead and stripped. All the nutrients and everything has been fine. In actual fact, I'll go on to that in a minute because I'm struggling for nutrients, hence the new additions. But yeah, I've tried flow, I've tried nutrients, I've tried dosing, I've tried coral food, and none of them SPS at the top seem to get it. Now, I've seen a few other posts on this tank, and I've come to the conclusion that this Red Sea Light is probably just a little bit short for the sort of higher end SPS. So I'm making it that the PAR, when I was looking at somebody else's PAR readings in a similar setup with all of the lights on at the same temperatures, that the PAR was about 160, 170 on the top, and that's nowhere near enough. So everything else is growing brilliantly. I had a bit of trouble with one of the euphyllias in the middle, but the Duncan's growing new heads, the Hammer's grown. I mean, look at the Sunny D's, started with 1 or 2 heads, I think it was, absolutely flying. Same as the other Zoas as well. They've not grown too much, but there's a little bit on them. The candy canes have stayed the same, but the stylos have started growing and sprouting out new arms. So we've got that growing, and this stylo as well. Sorry about this filming, guys. It's now got 3 or 4 heads at the top of it. So all in all, I've come to the conclusion that the RE Red Sea LED 50 is not for the higher end acros. Now, for the moment, that's okay, because I'm really still trying to keep this tank as stable as possible, and I'll go into dosing, which has been the biggest struggle. But I think eventually there'll be an upgrade on it, because I can't go without any decent SPS on that top shelf, no matter how much I try. So, livestock, disappearing clownfish. We lost the clownfish, and I can tell you now, I do not know where. It's not down the back, it's not under the tank, it's not inside the tank. I've not had one change in phosphate or nitrate. So unless the crabs and the cleanup crew devoured that in a matter of a day, I am lost. Must have been devoured inside there if it died, but it wasn't eating for a couple of days, then it just lost. So I've replaced it with another wide bar, which is this little dude. And we've still got the black and white one over the side there. So they've paired up. They've only been in a day, the small one. And he's already moving around the tank and fine. You'll notice the little yellow lemon peel wrasse, I think you call it, yellow chorus wrasse, whatever it's called. That's only a baby. When it grows a bit bigger, it'll go onto another tank of a friend of mine. But for the moment, I've got it in there just in case there's some pests, and it's keeping himself busy. And that's only been in a day, and it's already out and it's eating flake food, which I'm absolutely gobsmacked at. We've still got the firefish and the grammer. They're both hiding in there. You can just see the firefish at the back. The grammer lives in this little bit here. We've also added just now, and I'm going to go really slow to see if you can get a picture of him, just in there, a mandarin dragonet, and he is eating mysis shrimp like it's going out of fashion. He's a right little fatty. It's quite hard to get a good view of him. He's probably going to hide when I do that, but oh, there we go. There's a good one. He's nice and chubby, and when I turn the flow off, drop some mysis in, he sits and pecks away at it, and obviously it's a good sized tank to be able to do that. So really love them fish. They are absolutely stunning, and he's a really good example of one in right good condition. Props to Abyss in Stockport. I don't tend to get fish from many other places. Never had a problem acclimating one and getting them in, and these ones are no exception. So that's a livestock update. Probably need a bit more cleanup crew, but I'm really starting to grow some Coralline algae on this rock now, even though you can't see it because the pink kind of comes with the real reef rock. Just on top of that, you see the pink, just got a finger in the way, just there. And that is starting to sprout up on some of these rocks when you look quite deep. So it's a darker colour red that you can see just above my fingernail. So we're starting to get a good bit of growth, which means that we are calcifying and the harder corals can create a skeleton. So it's all going really well, really enjoying it. dosing. So I was dosing at alkalinity, and I wasn't doing many water changes because the nitrate was really low and phosphate was really low. I had a little bit of a jump in phosphate, put some Rowaphos in and got that back down to 0.02 to 0.03, but I cannot grow nitrate for love nor money, so I think the corals are consuming a bit of it. And I, up until yesterday, I only had 3 fish in the whole tank, so I came to the conclusion that I didn't have enough bio load. I was feeding really heavy as well. I'm feeding some frozen, some pellets, some flake, all getting eaten up, and the crabs and clean-up crew are eating some of the pellets off the ground as well. Probably why they're not eating the algae, but there's not really much algae anyway. So yeah, I've added a bio load, so I'm hoping my nitrates will start to rise to the point where I can do a couple of water changes here and there just to keep the nutrients flowing. But then I had another idea. I'd seen it on a few other tanks. Nathan Willard's one of them, and he's been an inspiration for quite a few bits of this, so if ever he does watch the video, thank you. He has answered a few of my questions before as well, so I like what he does. And what he was started doing on his new tank is TMC Alpha Reef, which is a dosed chemical which has everything in it and trace elements. Now, initially I was like, well, how can you balance it out? How do we do all that? And he seems to be getting all right with it, and a few others on the forum seem to be as well. So I thought, what the heck, try it, because it's got trace elements in, which sort of stops the need for me to dose them all separately. And as I've only got a 1 dose head that I bought, I thought that could actually work great. So I switched over in the last week to TMC Alpha Reef into my, come down to the sump, in here. So in here is now 600 mils of TMC Alpha Reef, dosed about 5 mil a day at the minute, and that's holding the alkalinity at 9.67. Calcium's slowly starting to come back up because it dropped, because all I was dosing was alkalinity and no water changes. And the magnesium's starting to come up, so I'm going to try that now. I'm hoping if I can keep that stable, that is just going to do what it needs to do, and I won't be under so much pressure to do a water change. Also hoping that the extra bio load will create more nitrate, so I won't be struggling on 0. It got to the point 3 days ago where I was on 0.01 phosphate and 0 nitrate, and that's way too close to where I want to be and what could end up with dinos, because that nearly killed me last time. So I stopped the skimmer, I got rid of the filter floss which I had been putting up here. I've been putting like a square of filter floss in the top back corner, and it's keeping the water like absolutely crystal clear, but it's taking so many of the nitrates out. So I've kind of just got the 100 micron filter sock, and I've only just turned the skimmer back on as I'm starting to see a bit more nitrate. So if you can see now, the water clarity is pretty much gin clear through there. It's hard with the light, the ambient light in here at the minute, to work that out, but I just need to find a balance of enough nutrients going in to keep it at under 5 nitrate, but also keeping the filter floss in, because I think it keeps the water so beautifully clean. So that's where I'm aiming for. So heavy feeding, 6 fish in there now, which is a decent high size bio load for a small cube, and lots of food, and hopefully we'll keep just under 5 nitrate with the polished filter pad in. And I think that, along with the TMC Alpha Reef, could get us to a place where it's steady as anything, and sort of harder corals may start growing. If that's the case, I'll then try another SBS. If I'm really not getting the growth that I need, even with all that flow and all the parameters right, I'm going to put it down to the light and probably upgrade it. But if I can avoid that, it's another 400 quid, which during a lockdown we never really want to spend. So I'm going to give the Red Sea light a little bit longer. I like the shimmer, I like the look of it. It's nice and easy to use. I've not had the connectivity problems that many people have had, but yeah, you see the grandma come out now. Nice colourful tank, it's going really well. Everyone seems to like it in the family, and I just need some nice pretty acros growing and branching out of the top there, and I'll be a happy reefer. So that's the update, guys. Sorry I rambled through that very quickly, but I've got to run. So if you've got any questions, please do put them in. If you've got any tips, please put them in, always ears. And yeah, good luck with everything, and I'll see you soon.